so that I get it out of the way right at the start, I gotta go to the beard. Just so we can get it, all right?
Let's do it.
I want to get your thoughts on some of the great beards in history. Abraham Lincoln.
That's vintage. He's one of the best to ever do it.
Santa.
Classic. I would like to pay my respects to those who paved the way for me being able to rock my beard the way I am. It means a lot.
ZZ Top.
Who was that?
You don't, you. The way
ZZ
you.
Top. I wish I could get mine this long.
Meet the man behind the beard. From Compton through Tempe, from OKC to Houston. Flamboyant but camouflaged. Slow but fast. Awkward but agile. Offbeat but mainstream. 27-year-old James Harden is all those words, but perhaps the best description is the one he uses.
Just gotta continue to do the unnormal.
The unnormal. What do you mean?
This young man with a beard came along and just put the world on notice. There was a lot of struggle, but through all that, my backbone, my mom, I knew something positive was gonna happen. I happened.
James Harden was born August 26, 1989, the youngest of 3 children.
What nickname, James, did your mom give you when you were born?
She didn't give me a nickname.
Lucky.
I didn't know that.
She called you lucky because between her last child being
My
born
sister.
and you being born, do you know what happened?
No.
She had a series of miscarriages.
I never knew that. Munya Willis is just a strong-minded human being, and I think that's where I got it from.
Harden was raised by a single mother in Compton when South Central LA's homicide rate was at its peak.
You always hear an ambulance, you know, sometimes you would hear the shooting and stuff.
Gangbanging, drive-bys, drug dealers, robberies.
And the riots. Walk out your door, you see fires going on and people running right past you. I mean, we see a lot of things.
The place where you're not supposed to make it out of. The odds are against you. A lot of people aren't strong-minded, and they either end up, in jail or not here anymore.
Five to 10 years from now, where do you see yourself?
I want to be at the pinnacle, like the highest point to where I'm known as like a legend almost.
Wow, that was Chris Brown 7 years ago. 18 years old and on his way to the top. And that kid was absolutely one of my favorites. Since then, I think it's fair to say that things have gone off the rails for Chris. Really, the only constant in his life is that he continues to sell records. Even if you don't like Chris Brown, I want you to take a moment and listen, because nothing was off limits during our conversation. Rihanna, jail, therapy, and of course his music. Chris Brown's Redemption Tour is tonight's big picture.
In 5 years, where do you want to be?
On top, man. In 5 years, I want to be at the top, higher than the clouds.
Oh, I don't know what you had planned.
I remember being in the studio with you. I remember being around you, and I told people, I said, this kid is supremely talented.
Thanks.
Are you worried that you could waste that talent? Because I'm gonna tell you something, let me be honest. I was disappointed, almost felt let down because I said, this kid could be the great superstar.
Yeah.
Are you ready to now?
I think I am.
How are you, how?
I think it's about, I mean, life is life, man. You know, I think if I have to go out every day and try to please every critic, everybody that, you know, I say, oh my God, I thought he was this, I thought he was that. I mean, it's a choice. To buy my album is a choice.
His hit singles Loyal and New Flame have already sold more than 3 million copies, and the new album X is #2 on the charts.
You really are more singing about your life and your feelings in this record.
Yeah. I think with this album, like X defined me. You know, the 10 years of me being an artist, me being able to, you know, start at 15 to now 25.
Trouble seems to follow Brown. There are reports of fights at clubs where he partied, and of course, the assault on Rihanna.
How is your relationship with her today?
We good. We friends. Nothing's too serious. Nothing's, you know, we're not trying to start a life together right now. We just having fun.
How have you dealt with the attention and the focus on you, especially with all the stuff going on in the NFL now?
Well, I mean, it's not really hard. You know, I think like my situation was a big, and it still is a big, you know, thing in the world, you know. So I think when it comes to Ray Rice or whoever else is dealing with the same situation, understand what the problem is within yourself, and, you know, learning from it and making sure that it's absolutely never gonna happen again, or then that is not okay.
You spent your 25th birthday in prison. You made yourself a cake?
Yeah.
What did you do?
What I did, man, it's not really too much to do in jail. So it's like, you know, it's your birthday. Some guards might know your birthday, but, you know, it's not like your fan club in jail, you know, so it's like, so for me, I just made the cake, man. I made the best out of it.
You've moved on. You are doing community service. What are you doing?
I do maintenance. I go from singing on stage and dancing and doing videos to, you know, fixing the home appliances, fixing like, you know, painting the actual walls. And I don't want to say where I'm at specifically, where I go, because I don't want to gang of camera crews. You guys might show up and be like, hey, Chris, can we do it with you? No, I'm playing.
I'm glad to see that Chris can have a sense of humor about all this, and maybe it's because he meets with his therapist 2 times a week and understands that he must grow up.
She was a close friend. She was a fan.
I met her first at a concert in London. She was very kind, very loving, very sweet.
So she had a sense of humor with you?
Yeah, of course. And she told me she was honored to meet me, and I said, it's an honor to meet you.
How did you hear about her death?
I woke up and my doctor gave me the news, and I fell back down in grief, and I started to cry. I felt inner pain. It was pain in my stomach and in my chest. So I said, I cannot handle this. It's too.
If anything, I was the liaison between the attorneys and OJ. Whenever it was bad news, I had to tell OJ the bad news.
Thankless job.
Thankless job, very much so.
Mr. Kardashian, you sat in that courtroom as a lawyer. Now you're talking about things that you discussed with O.J. Simpson. Doesn't this violate your attorney-client privilege?
Barbara, I'm on the witness list for the civil trial, and I think that's something that the court will have to determine at that time.
Are you sharing any of the profits, if there are any, from this book?
I don't like discussing my financial situation.